Hi guys, Peter Finch here and welcome down to Finch Friday, your weekly golf Q&A. And as always, loads and loads of questions in, so we're going to pick out 5 that may have not answered before and get through them forthwith. Okay, first question here on Instagram from Bryson Alexandre. Do you think that people who take performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, have an advantage over other golfers? If so, do you think users should be banned for life? So the clue is in the name. So if you're taking performance-enhancing drugs and you're getting an advantage over the competition, then yes, you should be punished accordingly. And certainly within athletics, they're a lot more along as far as how they structure their bans. How that would work in golf, I don't really know. But the question still remains in golf is performance-enhancing drugs, do they actually give any benefit to a golfer? Because it is a very different type of sport than you would say the 100-meter sprint is. However, having said that, there are certain types of steroids and other such things which could give a strength advantage, and certainly in the modern game, which is about bombing the driver such a long way, that is something that needs to be looked at. And this year, the PGA Tour, European Tour, they are bringing in some tougher measures to try and help combat this, if it is a problem. And to be honest, at this moment in time, we don't know if it's a problem because no one's ever been banned from golf for taking performance-enhancing drugs. The only thing to add on to this is over recent years, we have seen a number of bans or a number of, how do we put this, forced absences from the tour for not so much taking performance-enhancing drugs, but for more recreational drug use. And from what I understand, from what I've heard around the tour as well, this is something which the tours are going to be clamping down on a lot more. There is a little bit of a current to try and basically make golf as clean a sport as possible. And generally, that's why you see a lot of money coming into the sport, because it is still seen as quite a clean, advertiser-friendly, sponsor-friendly sport. And if we want to continue to grow the sport and we want certainly the top pros to be playing for as much as they are doing, then it's up to them to try and uphold and represent golf in the best light that it can be. Question here, Instagram from Dan Koenig 10. I want to lower my handicap. This is good news, Dan. Is it worth playing in winter competitions when the conditions are harder, or wait until summer when the conditions are easier? Loving the videos too. So first thing is it actually easier in the winter? I'm really not sure it is. I mean, the condition of the course generally is going to be much worse than it is in the summer. So that is going to be harder, you would say so. But the courses are also going to be shorter. And if you get a day which is mild for winter, so 6-7 degrees, something like that, with a very shortened golf course, then you can actually, start to take that course apart a little bit. Well, certainly when you get to the summer, the courses are going to be longer. There's different options to grow the rough thicker and the fairways and all the rest of it, greens faster, which some people don't prefer. Some people do prefer the slower winter green. So I don't think it's as easy as saying that winter is harder and summer is easier. The one thing I would add into this is competition play, no matter what time of year, is going to be beneficial. Just practicing throughout the winter, just trying to improve your technique, that's all very well, but unless you're actually subjecting your game to competition pressure, you're never really going to know if it holds up as well as it can do. So I would always say that during the winter, you're probably going to be more range-based anyway because of the weather. Certainly over here in the UK, over the last couple of weeks, it has been very much just at the driving range and nothing else. However, if you can get yourself into competitions, if you can start to progress in those competitions in the winter, mentally, you're going to be in a much better place when the summer comes around. So the answer really is to play in as many competitions as you can, no matter what time of the year. It certainly won't be doing you any harm. So this question from rockandroll_golfer. Watching Rory last weekend, he really looks like he's packed on the muscle and got himself fit again. Do you think to become a better player and achieve continued success, getting fit and practicing go hand in hand in the modern game? First thing is, yes, he does look really, really fit. It has to be said. On the range, Abu Dhabi, managed to get quite close to him, and he is looking trimmer than ever, really. So in the time period that he's had off from competitive golf because of an injury which was caused by practice, remember, it wasn't caused by gym work, it was caused by practice, he certainly seems to have gotten himself in a very, very healthy state. Now, as far as if you need to get that healthy to play good golf, that's open for debate. I do believe that you could not really go to a gym at all, maintain a relatively high level of fitness just by playing golf as much as you can, not eating rubbish, all the rest of it, and become a very good golfer. But what you find is when you start to get to the elite level, it's not about big, massive changes. I've had players come in here, let's say they're a 25 handicap struggling with a massive slice. By fixing the slice, you can chuck 10 shots off that score. You can make these massive, massive improvements. By the time players get to that tour level, there's not really massive swing changes that they can make to improve by that level. I mean, there are the few occasions, but generally those players are looking for those very small marginal gains, which will total up over the season to give them more of a chance of winning tournaments, of being more consistent. And fitness is one of those areas. And you see it all the time now. Even players who you would not associate it with being, real hardworking gym holics like Rory is. If you think of the Spieths, if you think of the Justin Thomas, these players, you wouldn't look at them and go, oh my God, they must spend ages in the gym, but they do. They spend a long time trying to become as fit and athletic as possible because that is the way that golf is going. So if you are a handicap golfer, don't think that you need to smash the gym to get better. Yes, a certain level of fitness will help for sure, but it's really those elite level players who spend the most time in the gym because they are trying to get those very small gains over the whole course of the season. So a question here on Twitter from Luke Holdsworth. Hey Pete, if you was to think of a marketing ploy for this time next year, what would you use to sell more clubs? So, this is an interesting question. What would I do to try and sell more clubs? Well, obviously, if I was to bring a new club out, it would be the most forgiving club, obviously. It would go a long way, obviously. I'll be saying all the same things that everyone else does. The one thing which you've seen recently is companies trying to make their club heads faster, to actually move fast through the air. So I'd have some kind of visible technology on there which says, oh God, this moves really fast through the air, it must go a long way. But the most proactive thing that I do in whatever club that I was marketing is I would just get those drivers, for example, if we're talking about a driver, I would get those drivers into the hands of the players, first of all, who have the biggest social media presence, and then I would be getting it into the hands of every vlogger and social media influencer out there. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that, because these videos, and certainly the guys who you're watching online now, they're having such a huge influence on what people are thinking of buying. So if I was to bring out a club, yeah, I would do a lot of what's in the bags, where those clubs would always be in the what's in the bags. I would make sure that they were all in Ricks as well, and boy, we would sell a lot. We would sell loads. Too many, actually. So a question here from Malcolm at Coastal Malk on Twitter. Should clubs promote a variety of match formats, 6s, 9 holes, battle golf, etc., to liven the image of golf? I think there's two ways of looking at this. If you're talking about televised golf, so what the top tournaments in the world are, for example, yes, more variety would be absolutely fantastic. I think the biggest key for that is when you get an event on the PGA Tour, wherever it may be, that's a slightly different format, what that normally leads to is that event actually having less prize money, having less interest. I think if you were going to do a different style of competition, whether it be something as ridiculous as battle golf, imagine how good match play battle golf would be on TV. That would be absolutely awesome. But to get the players to go for it, then you'd have to stick a lot of wodge behind it. You'd have to make it an incredibly interesting event which the best players would want to play in. At club level, it's going to be much easier to make the different types of competition. I certainly think that too many clubs just default and go into a, well, how about we just have a normal 18-hole stroke play competition on the weekend and leave it at that. So for certain board comps, I can see that still working, but to certainly get a few more people interested and to just mix up the variety of what players do at competitions, then yes, absolutely. Let's have more formats in there. On the flip side of that, if you think about what happened in Abu Dhabi this weekend with Tommy Fleetwood, that was a 72-hole 18-hole per day stroke play format, you know, everything that you've been used to, and it produced a brilliant back nine from Tommy Fleetwood that you will not be able to see anywhere else apart from in that format. So the long format of the game, it still has a place. There's absolutely no doubt about it, but having some interesting and different types of format will work. The worst thing that can happen is you can try it and it can fail. But it's going to be so much better doing that than not doing anything different at all. Right guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. As always, comment below. Love to know what you guys think about everything that we've talked about today. Like the video, share it around. Follow me on my other social media platforms as well, which are linked in the description below. And we will see you down here next time.